Outstanding, the ultimate accolade for teachers. We challenge primary teacher James Evelyn to go from good to outstanding. A top inspector observes one lesson. 2 experts will fine-tune his practice and help improve his presentation. He also gets comments and advice from teachers across the country who've seen his lesson on the web. James then has 2 weeks to take on all the advice before the inspector comes back for the final verdict.
Having a 1-hour lesson on the internet, it's there, it's warts and all, but you kind of think, oh my God, there's so much stuff on there. How bad is my lesson?
James Evelyn is in his 3rd year of teaching after a career in politics.
I started a career in public affairs in Westminster and really enjoyed it and stuff, but just found towards the end the kind of office lifestyle wasn't fulfilling. I mean, the money was better, but it wasn't fulfilling. And so I quit and retrained and haven't really looked back.
Southwold Primary is a 2-form entry school in North London. The school rates his teaching as good.
He's very well prepared, very organised. He's never had a day off. And he has a genuine love for education, knowledge and imparting that for children.
Show me what I get if I half 30.
To move to outstanding, James will focus the challenge on numeracy with his Year 3-4 class.
I'm very fond of my class. There's a big range of abilities which I find the most challenging part of the job. They're all engaged in their learning. They're all working hard and they're all achieving, I think.
He's a good teacher because when we don't understand something, he makes us understand it.
10, 15, 20, not 40.
He's a good teacher because he teaches us stuff that we don't know.
Everyone thinking about an equivalent fraction to 2/3.
I think what James could work on would be engaging all the pupils, looking at the whole range in the classroom and not letting any of the children hide.
Okay, tricky one. Watch her. She gets it wrong. I think the big one for me is the differentiation. It's just making sure all children are engaged all the time. Fantastic. Give her a clap. That's a tricky one.
James plans his lesson on data handling.
One of the kind of key areas in maths is sorting information. And to finish off the lesson, we're going to have just a quick session on how we sort these animals. I think a temptation for the children is always just go for colour and the immediate. So I guess my challenge as a teacher is to make them think kind of beyond that. And hopefully it'll be a nice way to finish the lesson off.
It's the day of James's first observation. With hundreds of inspections under her belt, School Inspector Claire Gillies leads teams up and down the country. She certainly knows an outstanding lesson when she sees one.
I'm at Southwold Primary School to watch James Evelyn with his Year 3-4 class. This is the 2nd lesson on data handling.
Okay, start off lesson today. We're going to do some work, some number work.
James has 60 minutes to impress our inspector with his numeracy lesson.
Okay, Yad, is that, yes or no, the biggest number they could make?
No.
Who needs to move to make it bigger, Yad?
Chloe needs to swap with her Louise.
Is he right, Camille?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Make the smallest number you can. How many 10s?
3.
Good. What else?
If you double 37 plus 37 equals 74.
74? Good. You're good at doubling. Zed, what times table is it in? Is it in one? What's it in?
4.
4? No?
In an outstanding lesson, you'll certainly notice that little opportunities, for example, to extend literacy or numeracy, is picked up by the teacher, and it has a sort of life to it that carries the students or pupils along.
Okay, hands down now, please. Moving on. On Friday, we learned about Carroll diagrams. Before we move on today, we're going to do just some quick work, just refreshing our memories after the weekend. Okay? So, Lavender. So we're sorting out the children based on their age and on their gender. Very good. Joseph? Good. So a stranger from another planet would come in and realise, oh, Joseph's a boy. They didn't know. Everyone happy with Carroll diagrams? Yeah? I thought we were good at that on Friday, so I thought we can move on today to something new. And today, our learning objective is sorting using a Venn diagram. But we're still sorting, depending on whether children are girls or boys, and if they're 8. Enoris? Good boy. Why isn't Norris there, Samaya?
He's aged 8, but he's not a girl.
Good. What I want to do is some work in our books. Samaya's table. You're going to draw in your books 3 Venn diagrams. Next 2 groups, one behind Amelia, are going to draw just 2 Venn diagrams, Rachel. And this table here, I'm going to do some sorting with me on the table.
I mean, I'm going to use that after. It doesn't look good if you use that.
How many times you multiply 5 to have 25?
5.
5 times. So what do we put it here or here?
Here.
There, well done.
Russia. What is it? Remember the name? Hexagon. Well done. Where does it go? Is she right?
Yeah, because it's 6 sides and it's not red.
Good boy. Okay, just to finish off with, what I want is a volunteer to come and show me how they can sort these animals. Medina, come on then. Thank you. Who can tell me how Medina sorted them? Joseph.
Like the one which lives in the sea and the one which lives on land.
Okay.
I enjoyed the lesson because people got to share their opinions and we already knew how to do it, so it's quite easy for us.
Okay, hands up, you can work out what Zed's done. Chloe, what's he done?
Why does it have 4 legs and one that have 8?
Would a carrot diagram be better for that? Because in the middle you couldn't put, they've got 4 and 8 legs. They've either got 4 or they haven't. So just to finish off, put your hand up if you're a green. I understand Venn diagrams and know what I'm doing. Brilliant, okay?
So how did James get on?
James, thank you very much for letting me join in that numeracy lesson. I mean, I'll say how much I loved the animal thing at the end, the moving around, and the names at the beginning was just great. And your use of the interactive whiteboard to do both the starter and that plenary section, that was, you know, you're relaxed and calm about it. It's human, it's fun. I'm going to, you know, plunge straight in and say it was good. And I think if I have to sort of distill 3 things perhaps that prevented it from getting into that outstanding category, it would be, first of all, that there were some individuals who just didn't do as much as I'm sure you hoped they would. Yeah. They spent ages waiting for the bottom of the pencil pot to draw the circles. Thought occasionally, when they gave either a weird answer, a bizarre answer, a wrong answer, you could be more, not quite, but that's very interesting. Just a little boosting, just a little bit more enthusiastic. Some of the answers were just slightly good, okay. It was a bit cool. There was a feeling of, well, so what? Why do we want to do these Venn diagrams or carolides? If you can just think of some way to really say, well, it's useful because, I think that's our challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
With the first observation over, the inspector highlighted James's need to manage a wide range of ability more effectively, be more responsive to his pupils' answers, and to help them understand the relevance of what they're learning. It's time to bring on the experts. To boost James's progress, help comes from primary maths expert Andrew Jeffrey and voice and communications coach Ulrika Schulte-Bauchloh.
Start lesson today, we're going to do some work.
They start by watching James's lesson.
Quick work, just refreshing our memories after the weekend.
I feel he's very engaging. He has a very patient, calm, relaxed manner.
I thought so. They all wanted to work with him and for him. They were listening to him carefully.
So we're going to sort out the same data as before, different names this time.
Points I would like him to work on is body language. Hands out of the pockets and just see what else could he do.
I think a lot of them learnt a lot of things, but I think the more able groups, they could have perhaps achieved a lot more. Sometimes he missed maybe some opportunities for to really interpret what the children were saying and get something more out of that. OK, James, at the start of your lesson, OK, the starter was good. There were some good elements on it, but I felt they were sitting on the carpet for quite a long time.
Andrew suggests ways of making the carol diagram activity more kinesthetic.
Depending on the weather, you might want to do this indoors or outdoors, but this is the human physical carol diagram thing. So imagine a line on the floor, and you can get all the children and say, right, boys, this side of the line, everybody else, this side of the line. You get them moving. That's okay, but then you might want to do 2 criteria at the same time, as per the carol diagram. So what we need is a second tape going the other way, and now say, right, can we use this second line? So we have boys on this side, girls on this side, 8-year-olds on this side, and non-8-year-olds on this side. Everybody go. All right, and they will naturally sort themselves into those 4 groups. It's terribly flexible. It's a great thing for data handling. Don't be afraid to use the most important resource in the classroom, which is the children themselves. Yeah. There was something that you had on the board in your lesson, which was 3 intersecting coloured circles. And I just thought it would be not a lot of work for you to get something like this. Now, here's a yellow piece of acetate and a red piece, and they can physically, those children who like learning kinesthetically, intersect them. There might be 1 or 2 children for whom that really makes a difference, the ability to be tactile with them. Now, the sorting ability, the group that you were with, they were sorting hexagons and pentagons. I wonder if there's something that would be more relating to them. So, as a simple example, I've got here some just building bricks. And there's a number of different ways they could classify these. They could classify them by shape, they could classify them by number, they could classify them by colour, something that they can relate to more readily, perhaps.
Right.
The other thing is the higher ability children as well. Why not stretch them to 3 circle problems? Give them some 3 circle problems. So if we've got an A, a B and a C, start introducing vocabulary to them, like the intersection. They'd love that. And vocabulary is everything, really. So, for example, could they describe a shaded region? Could they describe that someone here was in set B and set C but not set A? Or other ideas, because it's a common misconception that Venn diagrams have to have 2 intersecting circles. What about that? We used to call them the fried egg set at school.
Right.
An example would be children in my class, year 3 children in my class.
I like that idea.
And it's moving them well beyond where you would expect them to be at the age of 8 and 9, and therefore you've got that opportunity to show that they have moved, and your good to outstanding chances go up a little.
Samaya, what else?
If you double 37 plus 37 equals 74.
74, good. You're good at doubling. Anything else?
In terms of the questioning, some of the answers that were given to you were so interesting that I want to encourage you to be a bit daring and to say, hang on, actually that was such an interesting answer. I want to just kind of scratch the needle across the record and say, right, oh, that's interesting, tell me more. Some of the questions that you need to come back with are the quality questions like, oh, how did you work that out? Or, for example, can you tell us all how you did that? Or who agrees with that?
I guess one question I'd like to ask is, we're doing time next. And how can you use these ideas in that kind of area of mathematical learning?
Good question. I think the big issue is probably to forget the actual specific suggestions that I've given you today and think about the principles behind them, the principles of making sure that everyone is extended at their own level, make sure that the resources are there so that everyone can get on, make sure that the children are moving in some way, and of course, ask them what time they do certain things, just bring it relevant to them. And good luck. I hope that it will be outstanding.
Great, thanks Andrew.
Well done, man.